Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
So this morning we'll be doing media training starting with lights under the hot cameras. So, why did you become a devotee of Hare Krishna? So, first just want to take a moment to thank our hosts and hostesses from the beautiful temple here. It's been a pleasure, all the devotees coming from across Europe and Russia and America and various places to come here and have darshan of the deities and beautiful temple, and thank you all for your hard work in taking care of us and cooking nice prasadam and making nice arrangements. We're all very grateful. We're very impressed yesterday when we went. Well, some of us, different devotees, some devotees are staying in town. Some of us just went and visited there yesterday. I guess you call it the town? Is it the local town or the village? Yeah, that place. I'm an American. I won't even try to pronounce that word. Yeah, it was very nice to see. One place we went and there's a vista. It is a picture. Okay, you're looking at this, and this is such and such a mountain, and such a mountain, such and such a church, and back over there on the hill, that's the Hare Krishnas. It's right on the sign in the village. So that was nice. And then we were walking down the street, and somebody pulled up and said, "Oh, Hare Krishna." Devotee, and then walking later, somebody out the window, "Hare Krishna." So, whoa, this is a special place. Sometimes in America, when you go out chanting Hare Krishna, they yell things, but not always Hare Krishna. Sometimes they say Hare Krishna, sometimes other things. So reading today from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 18. Prithu Maharaj milks the earth planet. Continuing the story. Today is text 22. No screen today, huh? Is it there? It's not there? Okay. So you just have to memorize it from my chanting. Good luck. Okay. So I'll do individual then. Tata ahaya danda sukha tatahayo danda sukha sarpaha nagaha cha takshakam sarpanagasta takshakam Vidhaya Vatsam Dudho Vidhaya Vatsam Dudho Vilapatre Visham Paya Vilapatre Visham Paya Tathahayo Dandashukha Sarpanagasta Takshakam Vidhaya Vatsam Dududhur Vilapatre Vishampaya Tathahayo Dandashukha Sarpanagasta Takshakam Vidhaya Vatsam Dududhur Vilapatre Vishampaya. Please chant.
Tatayo Dandasukha Sarpanagasta Takshakam Vidhaya Vatsam Duruhu Vilapatre Vishampaya Tatahayo Dandasukha Sarpanagasta Vidhaya Vatsam Duruhu Vilapatre Vishampaya.
Ladies? or Vaishnavis, Matajis, Prabhuvis, whatever the appropriate Spanish term is.
Sarpanagashtakshakam Vidhaya vatsam duduhur Vilapatre vishampaya Tadahayo dhanashuka Sarpanagashtakshakam Vidhaya vatsam duduhur Vilapatre vishampaya.
One more.
Tadahayo dhanashuka Sarpanagashtakshakam Vidhaya vatsam duduhur Vilapatre vishampaya.
Word meanings tata. Similarly. Ahayaha. Snakes without hoods. Dandashukaha. Scorpions. Sarpaha. Cobras. Nagaha. Big snakes. Cha. Hen. Takshakam. Takshaka. Chief of the snakes. Vidhaya. Making. Vatsam. Calf. Dududhu. Milked out. Vilapatre. In the pot of snake holes. Visham. Poison. Ayaha. As milk. Translation. Thereafter cobras and snakes without hoods, large snakes, scorpions, and many other poisonous animals took poison out of the planet Earth as their milk, and kept this poison in snake holes. They made a calf out of takshaka. Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Within this material world, there are various types of living entities, and the different types of reptiles and scorpions mentioned in this verse are also provided with their sustenance by the arrangement of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The point is that everyone is taking his eatables from the planet Earth. According to one's association with the material qualities, one develops a certain type of character. Payapanam bhujanganam. If one feeds a serpent milk, the snake will simply increase his venom. However, if one supplies milk to a talented sage or saint, the sage will develop finer brain tissues by which he can contemplate higher spiritual life. Thus, the Lord is supplying everyone food, but according to the living entity's association with the modes of material nature, the living entity develops his specific character. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Om Gyanatamiyam Vishwajanantam Janasharakaya Chakshu Umintam Mira Tasmai Shri Guru Namaha Shri Chaitanya Mano Vishtam Stapitam Nena Bhutale Svaya Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasi Gaura Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we're continuing this interesting story. Maharaj Prithu and Mother Earth and yet another set of entities are getting their milk or their sustenance or the desire from the earth. So here even the poisonous snakes, the cobras, the scorpions, etc., are also approaching the earth, having their desires fulfilled, and they're such wonderful creatures. What do they ask for but poison? We want poison. We're going to store it in our snake holes and keep all the poison there. makes me think in Mayapur, well, it's in the books, but in Mayapur, on the side of Prabhupada's Samadhi, one of the bas relief they have there is when the snake bird came and finally attacked at the end of 7 days, Mahaprikshit, and the one sage, can't remember his name, who had the power to stop the snake, but he was given a box of gold coins, like, don't use your power to stop this. So he's running away with his box of coins as the vicious snake bird is killing Maharaj Parikshit. So the snake has its poison, and the earth is providing everyone's needs. So Srila Prabhupada makes several points in the purport that we can discuss a little bit more. One is, he directly comes out, he says, the point is, sometimes it makes it easy. It's like, Anuttama's going to give class today, so let's make it real clear. Anuttama, the point is, talk about this. The point is that everyone is taking his eatables from the planet Earth. So, Srila Prabhupada is pointing out for the whole world, the Shastra is pointing out for the whole world, and for us as Vaishnavas, to also understand that we are dependent on the Earth. In the Western languages and cultures, they also talk about Mother Earth, how the Mother's providing us everything, is providing our sustenance. And just like a thoughtful person, these days society's kind of messed up and topsy-turvy in so many ways, but in general, understanding my mother is providing so many things for me, I should respect her. And in general, I should care for her. She's given me so many things, but at the same time, none of us are completely independent. We are mutually dependent upon each other, interdependent. So the earth has given me so many things, I should care for the earth. My mother's given me so many things, I should also care for my mother. I know sometimes, like, they talk about, in America, there's some of these very violent urban cultures. And sometimes, in Europe too, I'm sure, like, gangs and very nasty groups of people. And I've read some things that you can kind of say anything and do anything, but you better not offend my mother. That's like, there's no purity, there's no sanctity, there's no respect. The cultures have just degraded so much, but the one thing that's sacred is my mother. You say something against my mother, I'm going to have to kill you, because that's the one thing that still has any hope and light in our world, is my mother gave everything to keep me alive, and that's the ghetto, and no money and drugs and this and that, and she sacrificed. So, there's some sense that motherhood is very, very, very sacred. And so Mother Earth is one of the topics that we discussed during the communications conference about the environment, about taking care of Mother Earth. So talk about that a little bit here. Prabhupada says everyone is taking their eatables from the planet Earth. Everyone's getting our sustenance from the planet Earth. So today there's many people and movements and communities that are concerned about the planet, about abuse of the planet. And if we actually understand, as is being pointed out here, how we are dependent upon the planet, then naturally we're going to protect the planet more. Of course, oftentimes in this age in the world, people are very unconscious. Just like sometimes you're driving down the road, maybe at the speed limit, and someone goes flying by at 20, 30 miles or kilometers over that speed, because they're basically unconscious that if you're not careful, you can easily lose control and you can die. So they're just not aware that you're kind of dependent on the forces of physics and the forces of nature. And if you take too much of a risk, you're going to get a reaction. I was one time on a Christmas marathon. I was living in a place for the month about an hour from the Chicago temple, and I was driving what they call, I think, the Skyway, from where I was to the temple, and had this exact experience. I'm driving on the road and some car just flew by me. I was probably going 60, 70 miles an hour. They were probably going about 120. Just flew right by. And then down, they went by, and I could, way off in the distance, I saw something happen. And then about a minute later, I pulled up in the same car, laying on its top, completely, it rolled over. the top was crushed, and a bunch of cars were stopped. People were running over to see, can we, smoke's coming out of the car. Just a minute before, they're thinking, hey, I can do anything I want. Look at me, I'm powerful. Nothing can stop me. I can go as fast as I want to. But no, you can't. Actually can't. So in a similar way, today, in this context of the earth, oftentimes people and societies are thinking we'll just take more and more and more and everything's fine. My wife read a section, she's reading this book by Vandana Shivam, and there's a quote in there from one of the great modern scientists, I think Hawkins, is it Hawkins? Stephen Hawkins, who said before he died, unfortunately couldn't transcend that law, but he said that within 100 years we need to find a new planet. So we're going to have to improve our technology so we can all send ourselves into space and colonize another place. In other words, burn this place till it's completely gone. Just exploit it, abuse it, squeeze every little ounce of energy out of it you possibly can, and then go someplace else and do the same thing. This is what Krishna describes in the 16th chapter. This is a demoniac mentality. Just exploit, exploit, exploit. And then, things don't work out, so we'll go somewhere else. But the laws of nature are there. So you can drive so fast thinking there's nothing over me, there's no control, but actually we're under the control of nature, under the laws of it. So in a similar way we see in the world today, because of the abuse, there's so many problems. I was in Delhi, and then Vrindavan, and then Jaipur, and my phone, probably all of you have them, you can put in the weather app. So at home where I live in the United States, you put in the weather app, okay, here's, it's going to rain, or it's going to snow, or the sunny, or here's the temperature, here's the wind, and here's the sunrise, and here's the sunset. In India, I found, wow, my phone has a whole other capacity I had no idea of, which is air quality. So I'm in Delhi the first day, and I go, oh, that's a different line. My eyes like, what's that? Never saw it before. Air quality hazardous. Oh. Geez, that's not a very good thing. So it's going to be sunny, it's going to be warm, it's going to be a light breeze, and hazardous. And then the second, there were three. I'm trying to remember what the three grades were. It was hazardous. I can't remember exactly. It was basically hazardous. And the next day was, oh, there's a new one. Very hazardous. And then there was a third one, which was, I think, dangerous or something like that. And I thought, well, I wonder what exactly this means. So I tried to, Google and see what are these different things. And there's a whole international standard, and it's interpreted different ways. But it basically boiled down to the hazardous means that if you spend your day in Delhi, it's like smoking one pack of cigarettes. And then the second level was, and there's different interpretations, but it was somewhere, you look on one Google page, it tells you this, the other one tells you something a little different. But basically, it was 5 packs of cigarettes. And the third level was something like 15 packages a day. Oh my gosh. So we can build all the coal furnaces we want, and we can build all the crazy streets we want, and have all the cars and all of this and all of that. But what's that?
You broke the principle.
What's the principle? Oh, yeah. Yeah, but the problem was in Vrindavan was the exact same reading.
Yes.
You think, oh, go to Vrindavan, get out of Delhi. It's the same. And you go to Jaipur, same. Those 3 places are exactly the same. And then of all places, we went to Kuwait. It was like great, perfectly pure air, where they create all the oil. So go figure. But the idea being that because of the misuse, because of the abuse, we're understanding here everything's coming from the earth, but because we're abusing, because we're misusing, then all of these difficulties are coming. Air pollution, water pollution, noise pollution. And just like if we abuse our body, if you abuse your body, if you try to squeeze too much out of your body, you get some short-term gain but long-term pain. Remember, I worked in a factory one summer, a tractor plant, made tractors, trying to make money to go to college, and all the guys who were there, not all, but many of the men that were there for life, during their breaks, they go out and get intoxicated. They take some, marijuana or something else, or all day long. And a lot of these guys, I could see they were prematurely gray and prematurely aging. Because they were just like squeezing what energy they had out of their body. So their body, in a similar way, it's an environment, it's a planet for the soul. It's a place where we live. So we're supposed to take care of our body. If we don't eat right, if we don't sleep right, if we don't exercise, then maybe we can get some, you know, you go someplace, you're traveling, maybe you can buy, we all have different capacities, but I know for myself, I can go like maybe 2-3 days on 5.5 hours sleep, and then it's like I can't think straight, I start getting sick. And, you know, basically I need about 6.5, 7. And if I do that, I'm okay. In short term, I can squeeze a little more, but to sustain that's not possible. So just like with our body, you know, the modern culture is going to squeeze more and more and more out of the earth, out of the planet. But it's just simply not sustainable. Short-term gain, long-term pain. And sometimes, as far as, you know, what does this mean to us, I've observed, sometimes devotees, and part of the reason we talked about it in our conference, sometimes devotees have this tendency to think that because I'm a devotee, I don't have to take care. Isn't it? And you can kind of substitute. Because I'm a Christian, I don't have to care. Right? Or because I'm a this, because I'm a that. You know, because I'm a Republican, I don't have to care. Or because I'm a communist, you know, I don't have to care. Our cause is so great that nothing else really matters. And for centuries, because I'm a white male, we can exploit the whole world, it doesn't matter. The whole colonization, colonialism, all of that. But as devotees, actually, it's not that because I'm a devotee I don't need to care. I really should be, because I care, that's a symptom of being a devotee. And if I don't care, I'm not really a devotee. Really. I'm not really a Vaishnava. Because the extent that I am a Vaishnava, I should care about all these things. I had a personal experience when I went to Mayapur the very first time. I think it was Hari Sari Prabhu, that somehow I was a new bhakta, and I was given, someone came up to me and told me, I have direct service for you for Srila Prabhupada. I thought, wow, that's really special. So what's my direct service? They say, every day after Mangalarti, you have to go to this one that was only one building. Right. Lotus was first? This is the Lotus building. So your service is go to the top of the building and look at your hand. And when you can see your hand, you have to run from the top to the bottom, all the way around. You know, those of you who've been there, right? It's a big veranda around central rooms, and there was some lights in the hallways. So as soon as you can see your hand, so like, you know, when it's dark, you can't see your hand. As soon as you can see your hand, you got to run from the floor down to down to down to down and turn off every light in the hallway. That's your personal service with Prabhupada. And the reason was because just recently Prabhupada got very upset with devotees about misusing energy and wasting lights. So somehow I went through the parampara that, okay, your service to Prabhupada. So I did that. I remember how long I did. I think the whole time we did that, I did that. So why is that? Prabhupada really cared. Because he understood this is Krishna's energy. It's a gift of Krishna. And we also know there's other stories of Prabhupada when he was on at least one occasion on a morning walk, and he was walking with devotees in some urban place, and he stopped and walked up to a house, some stranger's house, private property, right? Most places you don't want to do that. It's not your house, you're a stranger, you're dressed, people might notice. But he just walked up and turned off the water faucet. It was dripping water. There's another story when Prabhupada was in Mayapur, same thing, Lotus building, I think, and he was like walking, and they walked by one room. See the Lila Rita, one of those little red books. He walked by one room, and he could hear the fan was on inside. And Indian doors, right, the lock's on the outside. So the door's locked, and the fan's on, which means there's nobody in the room, and the fan's on. And Prabhupada was knocking on the door saying, demons. This is the international headquarters for the Hare Krishna movement. It's about association. So the first part, caring for the earth. The second part, according to association, we develop our characters. So the same way we can approach the earth and get different things, in the same way, according to the association we have, we develop different, Prabhupada says, character, develop different kind of qualities, which puts the responsibility on us. Mentioned yesterday, Viktor Frankl, Stephen Covey talked about that too, being response able. So we have within our ability, and human society has this ability, as we sow, shall we reap. And we live in a planet filled with people that think I can drive 120 miles an hour and it's not a problem. I mean, you all know better than we do, the whole world. Some concluding points that we are trying to attain this stage of being perfect yogis, but we also know it's gradual. I visited a temple that I joined in Denver, Colorado just a few months ago. I hadn't been there in years. And in one sense, it was really inspiring because I looked around the room and it was just